Welcome back to Hookups and Heartbreaks. This episode explores how one person, one decision, can change history influencing events across the world. When Edward VIII met Wallis Simpson, no one would have guessed that she would influence such sweeping changes to the British monarchy. Edward Albert Christian George Andrew Patrick David was born on June 23, 1894 at White Lodge in Richmond Park, England. He was the eldest son of King George V and Queen Mary. Edward's childhood was largely spent in the royal residences of Sandringham House and Buckingham Palace, where he received a private education. Known for his mischievous and adventurous spirit, Edward was often seen as a rebellious prince, often defying royal protocol. Despite his upbringing in a royal household, Edward was close to his younger siblings and enjoyed pursuits such as sports, traveling, and socializing. His early years were marked by a sense of duty to the crown, which would ultimately shape his destiny as King of England. Edward VIII's ascension to the throne took place on January 20, 1936, following the death of his father, King George V. As the eldest son, Edward became King of the United Kingdom and the dominions of the British Empire. However, his reign was short-lived, as less than a year later, on December 11, 1936, Edward abdicated the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, a divorcee, which was contrary to the expectations and traditions of the British monarchy. This decision sparked a constitutional crisis and led to his younger brother, Albert, Duke of York, becoming King George VI. Edward's abdication and choice to marry Wallis Simpson had a profound impact on the British monarchy and reshaped the line of succession, ultimately influencing the course of history for the royal family. Wallis Simpson, born Bessie Wallace Warfield on June 19, 1896 in Pennsylvania, USA, came from a modest background compared to the royalty Edward was accustomed to. Her father, Teakle Wallace Warfield, worked as a carriage builder, while her mother, Alice Montague, came from a prominent Baltimore family. Wallis grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and was raised primarily by her aunt after her father passed away when she was just a teenager. She attended the Oldfield School in Maryland, and later the Mary Baldwin Seminary in Virginia. As a young woman, Wallis Simpson was known for her striking beauty, captivating personality, and keen sense of style, traits that would later make her a prominent figure in international society. Despite the challenges of her family's financial situation, Wallis managed to socialize with affluent circles and developed a taste for luxury and high society. Her early life experiences would shape her aspirations and ambitions, propelling her into the world of social climbing and eventually leading her to cross paths with the Prince of Wales, Edward VIII, an encounter that would alter the course of her life dramatically. She was a socialite with a sophisticated taste in fashion and a strong personality that caught Edward's attention. Wallis had been previously married to Navy pilot Earl Winfield Spencer Jr. before divorcing him and marrying Ernest Simpson, a British-American businessman. Despite her two previous marriages, Wallis and Edward developed a close relationship that blossomed into a romantic affair, ultimately leading to Edward's decision to abdicate the throne to be with her. Edward VIII's abdication from the throne in 1936 to marry Wallis Simpson remains one of the most controversial and dramatic moments in British royal history. At the time, the Church of England did not permit the remarriage of a divorcee if their former spouse was still alive, creating a crisis as Edward was determined to marry Wallis despite the opposition. In a radio address to the nation on December 11, 1936, Edward announced his decision to abdicate, citing his inability to fulfill the responsibilities of the crown without the support of the woman he loved. The move caused a constitutional crisis and shockwaves throughout the British Empire, as it was unprecedented for a reigning monarch to give up the throne voluntarily. His younger brother, Albert, became King George VI, and Edward and Wallis, now known as the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, lived a largely exiled life, as the royal family and British government were wary of their close ties with controversial figures and governments. Their relationship, and the events surrounding the abdication, continue to be the subject of historical study, speculation, and artistic interpretation, reflecting the enduring intrigue of this pivotal moment in royal history. Many historians speculate that Wallis never intended to marry Edward, but did so due to the immense scandal it would create if she didn't marry him after the abdication. Following their marriage, the couple resided in a number of different locations. Initially, they settled in France, where they lived in a stunning villa called the Château de Candé in the Loire Valley. They enjoyed a lavish lifestyle in France, hosting grand parties and entertaining numerous wealthy and influential guests. Later, during World War II, they relocated to the Bahamas, where Edward served as the governor from 1940 to 1945. After the war, the couple returned to France, eventually making their permanent home at the Moulin de la Tuileries, a beautiful property located near Paris. This became their cherished residence for the remainder of their lives, and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor continued to lead a glamorous and sophisticated existence in their beloved French home. King George VI's reign began in 1936 following the abdication of his brother, Edward VIII. It was a challenging time for the monarchy, as the country was on the brink of World War II. During his reign, King George VI earned widespread respect and admiration for his steadfast leadership and dedication to his people, particularly during the war, where he provided moral support and unity for the nation. His daughter, Princess Elizabeth, played an increasingly prominent role within the royal family, taking on official duties and engagements. When King George VI passed away in 1952, Princess Elizabeth ascended to the throne as Queen Elizabeth II, ushering in a new era for the British monarchy. Queen Elizabeth II's reign has been marked by significant historical and cultural developments, as she has witnessed the transformation of the monarchy into a modern institution fitted for the challenges of the 21st century. As the longest reigning monarch in British history, Queen Elizabeth II has overseen the expansion and adaptation of the royal family, including its response to societal changes and technological advancements. Looking to the future, Prince Charles, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II, has ascended the throne. King Charles has taken steps to reduce the size of the monarchy and working royals. However, discussions about the modern monarchy have also included consideration for the role of younger members of the royal family. Prince William and his children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, represent the next generation in the line of succession, embodying the continuing evolution of the British monarchy and its enduring relevance in contemporary society. One possible note of interest is that, had Edward not abdicated the throne and maintained his role as king, it is possible he would have had children of his own to ascend the throne. This would have made Charles's marriage less important, and perhaps he would have not been married to Diana, leaving both of them to marry other people. Thank you for joining us for this fateful story that changed a nation's course. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more hookups and heartbreaks. Until next time, take care, and stay tuned for more exclusive content. Goodbye!